Mazda RX-7.
Oh, now we're talking.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
I mean, you know, there's a whole bunch of cars we can talk about here. I have owned a lot of Mazdas.
Yes, I've owned an RX-7.
I would not call myself a Mazda freak.
Yeah.
I owned the rotary power pickup truck, not once, but twice. Different ones. 71 and a 76. I know they didn't make them in 76, but yes, I did own a 76. Another story.
So you tried to be a frequent flyer at a gas station during a gas crisis.
I will put it another way. In the era when no cars went fast, my little pickup truck could do every hole shot you ever wanted. I could beat anybody at the light unless they had a 60s car.
Value-wise.
Good-looking car.
And what are we talking? The original, second gen, or third gen car?
I would go with original or second gen. I like the third gen. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying that you can't love it. It's a great car. I like the original, the first gen, the best. I think that the design on those cars was really, really handsome.
Yeah.
I remember those cars when they came out. Had a lot of friends who owned them.
Yeah.
I had an RX-2. I had an RX-3.
Yeah. Oh, you were a big rotary guy.
Pardon me?
You were a big rotary guy, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. I really was. And those two rotary pickups were in college and immediately after college. So, I remember the impact they made on the market. They were great. They still are. Now they're getting to the collector marketplace again. Sweet spot. You're probably gonna have to spend 35 up to get a righteous model.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
For an original.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
which
one's the one you want? Do you want the original, or do you want
the
the 13B, the GSL-SE, the 84 car?
I think you could.
83 car.
I think you can make a great argument for either one.
Yeah.
And once again, we're talking about the first out design, the way the designer wanted it, all that sort of stuff. Very well thought out. Things got better. Things were, improvements were made. That happens with just about every car.
Now,
I make a great argument for both of them. Is what
I owned the second gen and I loved it, and I'm going to own one again. I love that car, but I got to tell you, I've been following because I want a 928, or at some point I'm going to have both, a third gen. I love that third gen car.
Yeah, good looking.
Very delicate.
Yeah.
Unusual for a Japanese car.
Right.
Very, very delicate.
Right.
They are already stupid money, I'm seeing. What's the high you've seen on those cars?
I've actually seen a private treaty car sell for $75,000.
Santa Maria Madre. Dios. What?
New in the wrapper.
Okay, so I offered a guy 32 grand.
Yeah.
For that silver one I told you about.
Right,
the 12 grand car, 12,000 miles.
Yeah.
He told me to, let's just say nicely, piss up a rope.
Okay.
And I thought it was all the money in the world.
Yeah.
75.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? How many miles were on it?
None.
Oh, so it was a wrapper car.
Delivery miles car, yeah, wrapper car, absolutely wrapper. And I don't mean the guy who controls the two discs at a time. It was a car that was still new and in the wrapper.
$75,000.
Yeah.
A touring car or a sport?
It was a sport, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
Yeah. But
You have
every once in a while,
floored me on this.
Every once in a while, I'm an appraiser. I get around, I see these things. This car never went to an auction, never was sold, other than private treaty, which means something like you and me.
Yeah.
That's what a private treaty sale is. The guy had it. He was a Mazda dealer. Took it home. Said, "This is the one I want," and I'm going to get around to driving it later.
Wow.
When he had other ones, and it's probably a 101.
So if that went to like Gooding or RM, what do you think it would go?
It could do better than that now.
It could do better.
Yeah, because these were cars that were bought by guys who used the car.
Oh my God, yes. That's why they're so
the
valuable.
Cadillac Eldorado convertible in 1976, the absolute test case. Everybody at a country club bought one, and then they bought another because they thought they were going up in value. People who bought RX-7s bought one because they wanted to use it, and so there was never. I mean, sure.
So there was no mothballing.
Yeah, sure there were.
Except for
people
this
who,
one.
Yeah, there were people who kept the mileage low, but there was nobody who kept the mileage at zero. I'm sure there's another one out there.
Let's talk about their contemporaries. The obvious choices: the Z32,
absolutely,
and the '93 Supra.
Yeah.
I would say the RX-7 and the Supra, they're incredibly valuable now because they were all bastardized. Very few of them.
Supra more so.
Supra more so,
Much
yeah.
more so.
And I've seen those as high as 80. Yeah. What are you seeing for a nice Supra, the third gen?
I have seen a few sneak out.
Yeah.
And I mean that, just sneak out at 40 grand. But I think it's Katie bar the door on those. I really think that those cars have an almost unlimited top end.
Really?
For the right ones. And
where do you see them going?
We're talking about angels dancing on pinheads again because, I mean, there are not that many that were adult, bought new, taken care of, and big thing. Not modified. Everybody modified those cars.
They did. So
Everybody modified almost everything Japanese, less so with the Mazda.
what's to look for on a car like that?
Once the easy stuff is always rust. I always put that number
Even a
one.
Japanese car that's new.
Yeah. Well, it depends on where it was. I mean,
Yeah.
if it's in Michigan where they salt the roads, 11 and a half months. I'm just kidding. It's really only 9 months per year. Then you're going to have an issue, even when the car is very well rust proof, because there's those pieces where two pieces of metal come together, and that's the weak spot. I would also look for adult ownership on this, if possible, and I would look for no modifications.
Is miles an issue on those?
Yes.
So you want a low miles
is always an issue, but look, if it comes down to the 68,000 mile one, that's a better car than a 38,000 mile one. The intelligent buy is the 68,000 miles.
So where do you think those are going?
That has a lot of room to go. I really think those cars, I mean, everybody wants JDM. Those aren't JDM. They came to this country. But they're, in that way, they're a little more user-friendly, a little more point and shoot than the JDM cars. Number one, they have the steering wheel on the correct side. And unless you're delivering the mail, you probably don't want a right-hand drive car forever for what you're driving all the time. And I think, once again, that's a car that, a lot of impact when it was new.
So do you see it like 2000 GT kind of numbers? Or
No.
Do you, so not that much?
No. 2000 GT, a couple hundred cars were built. So no, we're not going to see $1 million one, but I think that those cars, a solid investment if you keep it well and if you buy the right one.
So let's go to the other side of the fence, Z32. Okay. Those are not as valuable.
No, but once again, I've seen $75,000 240Zs.
Oh, 240Z, I can believe that, but that was a mothballed car.
No, it was a restored car.
Oh, by Nissan. Well, they're up to 75 grand now?
For a perfect one and above.
You're joking me. No. For a okay, these are surprising numbers you're giving me that I never would have seen.
Yeah.
So
okay, but keep in mind, here's the thing, MotoMan.
Yeah.
When I say that it's a $75,000 car, think about how much it would cost to restore one.
So what's the 24 valve car? How much are those worth?
I haven't seen any recently. I don't know.
I know of one that traded at $240,000, but that's the special car.
And
I get it. Yeah. Well, it's got the 4 valves per cylinder. It's a much more powerful. I guess for the day,
still bad.
More powerful.
Yeah, right.
But you're telling me 75 grand. So I don't know if you met him. I won't say his name on camera, but the gentleman who I feel like I've partially owned this car. That butterscotch 70 240Z, sadly an automatic, but everything else, and it was done by Nissan. It was one of those heritage cars.
Yeah.
He bought that car from Nissan
for what, 25 grand, right?
For 25 grand. 24,995.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So you're telling me now
with a warranty, right?
With a warranty.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're telling me he's got a $75,000 car.
I would say that if it's still as nice as it was.
It is as nice. Yeah, and I'd like to point out that I added value to it because I got its designer, Matsuo-san, to sign that car.
I thought because you did it for a MotoMan episode. Because
well, that
I was going to argue
actually,
with.
true story.
True story?
True story. One of the cars that was featured on my show, a Camaro, that car got stolen. It was a blue 68 Camaro. And to prove what the condition, the guy who loaned it to me, he sent the episode to the insurance company. I'm like, oh, you didn't tell me it was featured on the TV show. We're going to give you an extra % because it's a famous car.
And MotoMan is famous.
So, absolutely.
Okay, all right, I'll remember that.
Yes.
So all of my cars are more famous now. I'll remember that. So there goes my insurance premium right through the roof.
Yeah, but you are the insurance company.
Well, that's okay.
So you have a little bit of control.
Okay. Yeah.
So the Z32. Let's get specifically to the Z32, which is the 1990, the last generation of that car. I've seen them 30 grand. I know someone in a collection in Chicago that has a 0-mile car that they paid, like, I want to say 64.
Yeah.
Where do you see those going?
Once again, almost unlimited with some of the Japanese cars because they were so iconic. They were, another thing that's important since we're still talking value here, they were affordable when new. And that's a big deal because, look, an EB110 Bugatti has never been affordable. I mean, it just never has been.
Never depreciated to a point of affordability.
Well, yeah, and that would be another pick, by the way. They're going to go up. Anybody has a spare $1 million they want to drop. EB110, put it on there right now.
That collection that got the 0-mile Z32, they got an EB110.
Yeah, okay, well, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But anyhow, your $60,000 figure does not surprise me. on a 0-mile car. You're going to find...
Even though that car, they sold more. There's more of those out on the road than the Supras and the RX-7s of the same vintage.
Yeah, you know, that's the anomaly, though. I don't think you're going to... I mean, you know, that car will continue to... They'll all continue to go up in value.
Yeah.
You know, some of them are just going to make inflation, but, you know, I can't emphasize enough, it's not the modified ones. It's the stock ones. I mean, modified ones, they travel in a different market, and I get it, and some of them can be very expensive and sometimes even more expensive, but for the long run, the non-modified car.
So I want to bring up something very important that you and I discussed at lunch yesterday.
Lunch?
And yeah, lunch yesterday.
Okay, I know, but you brought up something very important.
Yes,
lunch.
I did.
Okay, good.
Yes.
All right, are we breaking now?
Soon.
Okay.
We're getting there.
All right.
So all these choices highlight the point you brought up, that there's a certain group exiting the market and a certain group coming in the market. Explain that.
Baby boomers. Talking about my generation.
Your generation, absolutely.
Yeah, they're not buying cars like they were before, and that's a typical situation. They're looking to, interestingly, a lot of baby boomers are getting rid of 6 cars and buying 2, and not what you think they're going to be buying. They're not buying 63 Corvettes. They're buying 2017 Corvettes. They're buying 2015 Corvettes. They're buying 2004 Corvettes.
Because they're just sick of car leaving on the side of the road?
No, they want something that is usable, as opposed to something that's going to take a little bit of wrangling.
Yeah.
So think about this. Let's say you're 70 years old. You're still a car guy. You want to have something fun, but you don't want to get out and get under. You don't want to do the repair work yourself. You want to have something that, and we see this a lot with Porsche people. We've seen a lot of that happen with some of our collectors who have, you know, they have the 356A, the 356B, they have Speedster, you know, whatever. They sell that Speedster, they put $400,000 in their pocket, you know, another $100,000 for the 356A and B. They've got $600,000 sitting around. You can buy a heck of a lot of relatively new Porsche.
You could buy a GT3.
Yeah, of course you could.
Easily.
Yeah, of course you could. So, I mean, you know, a lot of times what they do is they bank some of the money and they use maybe half of the money from their classic cars, and so they're buying.
And on the flip side,
buying newer cars.
My generation.
Yeah, Gen Y and millennials are starting to buy cars, so all that makes a difference. They're interested in different cars than my generation's interested in. That's just the way it always goes.
So is that why we're seeing values of RX-7s, of C32s climb the way they are?
Absolutely. That's part of it. The other thing is, you know, said it earlier, I'll say it again. It has to be 25 years old to be collectible. Out the door.
Out the window.
Just out the door. The best cars in the universe are being built today.
And that's because of just performance. Because there was a time from 71 to 87 when the Buick came out.
Yeah.
No power.
Nothing.
Now it's been, since 87, power.
Yeah. I mean, you open the magazine and there's a 700 horsepower car, and you're going, oh, what kind of drag racer is that? Oh no, it's something you can buy at a Dodge dealer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. It's insane.
Yeah, and they make as many of them as you want.
Yeah, they'll build
They're not limited at all.
You got the checkbook, they got the car.
And they now have 2 new versions. They got the wide body Hellcat, and they got the Demon, which I think is stupid, but
I love the Demon. I love the Demon.
You are a crazy man. Also, you have 3 Avantis sitting in here. Yes. But the wide body Hellcat, that's the one you want. That's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, it's a very cool car.
It's a cool car.
Hellcats are going to take a hit, though, from
the
Demon.
Oh, yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
But do you think they're going to make too many of the Demons? Because I think they're going to make as many as they can sell.
It's Chrysler. I mean,
it's not Porsche.
What am I supposed to do? Call Chrysler and say you're making too many?
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
they should learn from Porsche. They make like 8 less than they could sell.
No, what they should learn from Porsche is they should have the special, you know, the console with special leather and charge $1,800 for this much leather.
Yeah.
You know, that's something.
Or leather over the vents of the car.
That's only $1,200.
Got to have that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we're gonna turn this around to you guys. We're gonna leave you guys with a question, and the question I think is pretty obvious. What choices would they pick that are not on our list here? But most importantly, you need to tell us why.
Here's the thing. Before we get to the social part.
Yeah.
I'm going to say.
I've trained you very well.
I'm going to say that, you know, experts' advice is always to be taken with a little grain of salt.
Yeah.
I fought forever with the Porsche people. I was the one who was saying, no, 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 this 94 Speedster is going to be worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they're going, who wants that car? It's not a serious car.
Yeah.
No, it's not a serious car. Nobody wants it. Well, not everybody wants the most serious car.
300 grand later.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, what happens is, it's tough to predict the future. It can't be done. But a lot of the times, like, when you kind of divorce yourself from it and you go, wait a minute, I'm not the only one who wanted this car. I'm not the only one who thought, whoa, that's total throwback.
Yeah.
Porsche made a Speedster, they're doing it again. Is it the same thing? No, it's not the same thing. It's different. But anyhow. So
Dave, he's a modest guy. He will not tell you this, but I can tell you this because I've known him for a long time now. I've known you since 2000, 2002, something like that.
That's right, yeah.
And virtually every prediction he came up with was correct. I'm not an NSX fan. Virtually, except for the Avantis. You've been on my ass about NSXs. Buy every NSX you can get your hands on.
But you'll notice I'm not saying that right now.
Because you were right.
Because I was right.
You were right.
Yeah.
And that's not the only...
They were $25,000. Now try and find that same car for $75,000.
Exactly.
It's going to be...
So and even your Avanti did go up in price. I'll give you that. But only because you have controlled the market. You own all of them.
No.
So he is very humble. He is the man that has predicted this.
Wait a minute.
And what's the... A tender moment here on MotoMan. So I'm not saying his past. What is that? What do the finance people say?
Past
results does not guarantee future results.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't sue us. You can't sue us. My lawyer says you can't sue us. So with that, what are your choices? Why? And I want to know what region of the world you hail from. And you know what else I want to know? If they own that car.
Yeah.
Let me know in the comments below or via our social media, MotoManTV all in word, MotoManTV all in word, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And with that, I want to leave you with two things. What is that first thing?
You're going to say some phrase in German that I don't understand.
No, that's the last thing.
Oh, okay. What's the first thing?
You said something about the subscribing.
What
they should do.
You need to subscribe. You
need
need
to
to
unsubscribe
on YouTube, and then you need to come back and subscribe again. And then you need to... Everybody in your office needs to subscribe. Pretty much every email address that you have.
Everybody you know.
They want it, they just don't know it.
And they need to click notifications.
And absolutely, click notifications.
He's better at the pitch than I am. You're going to have to do this every episode.
Yeah, that's because I don't have any horse in this race. That's the reason.
And then second, I'm going to leave you with a fun fact. And this is the fun fact that I was telling you about in the last episode. So when I first started in business, I went to the SBA, the Small Business Administration, and they pair you up with mentors, like people who are older that are now retired, but they have the time and they want to help you out.
Sure.
And I was paired with a banker from Minnesota, super cool guy. And when I got to know him, he started joking around. He said to me, "Do you know how you can tell an honest banker?" And I'm like, "No, I have no idea." He goes, "They're the ones that drive the Buicks."
There you go. Yeah.
Even if it's a GNX. Until we see you next time. Bis später.
See you later.
Gator.
Gator?
Okay, we're done.